Hey guys, welcome back to Ad Lib Talk, and this is my review for Netflix's latest romantic drama movie, Persuasion. But before we start with this review, as always, don't forget to leave a like on this video if you enjoy it, and please do consider subscribing. So, directed by Carrie Cracknell from a screenplay by Ron Bass and Alice Victoria Winslow, and based on the novel of the same name by Jane Austen, Persuasion is a postmodern take on Jane Austen's last completed novel, published in 1817, 6 months after her death. Now, this is unlike any other Jane Austen movie adaptation. Imagine if Bridgerton and Fleabag had a much less interesting child. Yeah, that's Persuasion, a movie that seems to want to be different from the rest, from all the other Jane Austen movies adaptations, but isn't as brave or as well written as something like Bridgerton, for example, to bring about something truly fresh. So the movie starts off with something one would expect to see in any Jane Austen movie: a couple madly in love, embracing each other, but we find out quickly that due to differences in class and finances, Anne Elliot had decided to break off the engagement with Frederick Wentworth, a Navy captain. Now, 7 years later, Anne and Captain Wentworth do meet again, as her family decide to rent their house to an admiral and his wife due to a lot of debts. And with Wentworth being the wife's brother, this obviously leads to a number of sometimes humorous, sometimes awkward situations between the two. Persuasion is an interesting movie to review. I personally had a good time with it, at least till the incredibly rushed ending, which attempts to tie up like 3 to 4 storylines in around 20 minutes and fails quite spectacularly. But up till then, my interest was honestly never lost. And this is specifically because of the very, very good performance by Dakota Johnson. She showcases some impressive range throughout the whole movie, with her dealing with emotional moments really well. There is one scene, for example, in which she takes a bath and she speaks straight to the audience about her sadness due to a piece of information she finds out about Captain Wentworth. I will not give you any spoilers here, as always. But she also has a sarcastic side to her, quite a snide side to her, as she passes these kind of like snide comments about her annoying sisters and her rather unlikable father. She does all this with a wink at the audience. The performance obviously will bring about a lot of comparisons with Phoebe Waller-Bridges' performance in Fleabag. However, that performance also benefits from some incredible writing and settings and set pieces in which this style of breaking the fourth wall fits really well and just makes sense. For what it's worth, Dakota Johnson really does carry this movie on her shoulders, but there is one issue, which is something that did quite lessen my enjoyment of the whole thing. Now, I previously mentioned Bridgerton, and one of the things Bridgerton did really well in both seasons was to convince you that the main couple were truly in love with each other, through all the difficulties that love might bring. Did I ever feel there was this incredible love and passion between Anne and Captain Wentworth? Not really, no. There was a serious lack of chemistry between the two, and in the few moments they were alone together, I never really got the feeling that they were meant for each other. Unfortunately, here I also need to bring in the writing, right? Whereas in something like Bridgerton, we see our madly in love couple involved in a number of different situations, some funny, some awkward, and some incredibly romantic. Here, we barely see any of this. Their first meeting around 30 minutes into the movie is one such situation I'm referring to, as we see the two involved in a rather awkward yet humorous situation. Too few of these kinds of scenes have been included here, and that is a massive pity. To continue with the issue I had with the writing, I must say also that Captain Wentworth's character was seriously underwritten. He had been showcased as a far too boring character for someone with Anne's wit to truly take interest in, at least in my opinion. Now, here the issue of time becomes an important thing to talk about as well. Whilst in a series like Bridgerton we have time to develop both the couple, here we've just got 1 hour and 50 minutes, and screenwriters Ron Boss and Alice Victoria decided to sacrifice our captain to focus more on Anne and certain situations that unfortunately do not push the story forward and do not push that kind of relationship anywhere meaningful. And this leads us to the final 30 minutes of this movie, which are so damn rushed. We have a massive plot twist around 8 minutes before the ending of the movie. That's just to give you an idea how rushed this whole ending is. I personally felt no emotion and no attachment to anything that was going on screen in those last few minutes. The movie's inability to make me believe in their love was felt seriously here. Now, with regard to production design, I must say that we have a rather decent looking movie here. The costumes and makeup are all well done, and there is some interesting cinematography work here, especially involving Dakota Johnson's character and her breaking of the fourth wall. There are also some beautiful set pieces and shots here and there, with one in particular being a scene between Anne and Captain Wentworth on a beach, beautifully shot and showcased some impressive views. So overall, I must admit I find it very hard to recommend Persuasion, especially for fans of Jane Austen's writing, as the script also involves a lot of modern dialogue at one point and refers to herself and Captain Wentworth as exes, to give you an idea. But I cannot recommend it also specifically due to how poorly written the whole plot has been. With underwritten side characters, a dull pace which never picks up until the final 20 minutes, in which around, like I've already described, 3 or 4 storylines are concluded in a hurry, and a lack of chemistry between the couple. Dakota Johnson's fine performance cannot save the whole thing, but can at least make it somewhat bearable, and so my rating for Persuasion is a 2.5 out of 5. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed that review, and if you did, as always, don't forget to leave a like on this video, and please do consider subscribing. Cheers, and I'll see you guys next time right here on Ad Lib Talk.